my mom ran to the door. I stood on top of the counter and I hit her in the head with the hammer. And then I hit her again with the hammer and again and again.
This confession from 25-year-old Sarah Vercauteren shocked all of Pennsylvania. She confessed to savagely killing her own mother in their trailer home on December 31st, 2013, smashing her head in 18 times with a hammer. Sarah's attempts to get away with the murder continued. However, things were soon about to change for her and everyone who knew her.
It was just, I was completely traumatized.
Larry Wagner, Dawn's ex-husband, visited the house on January 9th, 2014, after many failed attempts to contact Dawn. But he could never have anticipated that he would find his ex-wife dead on the bathroom floor. Traumatized, he dialed 911.
I went right from the station, received the search warrant at the local magistrate, and then from there to the scene.
When you walk in there, you smell death.
There was blood splatter that started in the kitchen, and there was blood through the entire trailer.
The scene was haunting, and the investigators couldn't help but notice the dreadful condition Dawn's body was in.
Her hands were up around her face as almost like a protective covering. She had a blunt force trauma from her head.
Her ankles were bound with duct tape. Her wrists were bound with duct tape. She's on the floor, just covered in dry blood. The evidence that was observed on the victim's body gave us an indication that she was deceased and in the area, in the residence for a period of time, at least 4 or 5 days.
They didn't need an autopsy to confirm that she was murdered. But when the results came through, they showed that she had been hit on the head 18 times with a hammer. The investigators couldn't understand what motive someone would have to kill Dawn, as she had no bad blood with anyone. Obviously, there was only one person of interest at the time, Sarah, but she was nowhere to be found. So the investigators tried to learn more about Sarah from Larry to find out if there was anything that could have led her to do this. And from Larry, they learned something that put Sarah on their radar.
As she got older and still in high school, I think the quality of people that she met at that time were changing. And I think that she began to gravitate toward that. Sometimes the cool kids are the cool kids and they're not the best kids.
As Sarah grew older, she started acting independent. Her new friends weren't cool, they were drug addicts. And by the time she turned 17, Sarah found herself immersed in the world of heroin.
She's not taking care of herself, she's spending time away. We started noticing that she's losing a lot of weight. She'd go into the bathroom upstairs and we would hear her physically getting sick and vomiting.
On January 10th, 2014, a day after her mother was found, Sarah was brought into the interrogation room.
Sarah, for the record, can you state your full name and date of birth?
Sarah Dawn Vercauteren, and my date of birth is 10/02/88.
Sarah, you know why you're here today? Okay. All right, basically you're here today regarding an incident that happened involving your mother. Okay? What can you tell me about the incident that happened back on Tuesday, December 31st?
Let me tell you everything that happened.
Yes.
My mother came home at about 6:30 at night, and she was sitting in the living room and we was talking about how she's fed up with everything and fed up with people using her and my dad and stuff like that. And I was really dead sick. And I asked her if I could use her car to go get marijuana, but I was really going to go get heroin. And I think she kind of knew that. She told me no. And I just wanted to get high. And so I went into the kitchen, and she was in the living room watching TV, smoking a cigarette, and I was making pizza, and her back was towards the kitchen, so she couldn't see me. And I asked her again to use her car, and she said, "No, I'm not using my vehicle. I don't care about marijuana. You're not using it." And I got really, really, really upset, and my body got really hot, and I seen the hammer, and I picked up the hammer, and I stood on top of the counter, and I hit her in the head with the hammer, and she screamed out, "What the fuck?" And then I jumped off the counter, and then I hit her again with the hammer, and again, and then the dog champ came out. We heard her yelling, and he nipped me in the back of the leg, and I hit him with the hammer, and he stopped and went behind the couch. My mom ran to the door, and I pushed her. Hold on a second. I pushed her, and then he kept hitting her in the head with the hammer. I don't know how many times, just kept hitting her.
Dawn was horrifyingly beaten, but tragically was still alive to witness the extent of her daughter's actions.
There was blood everywhere. And I didn't want my son to get up because he was sleeping in his room. And I don't want her to hear. I don't want him to hear her. So, when she was laying there, I took her by the hand and dragged her into the bathroom. And then I hit her again in the bathroom. And she said, "Sarah, you could use my car. I'm sorry, you could use my car." And at that point, there was just so much blood everywhere. And I told her I'm sorry, and I loved her. And then I laid her down on the ground, and I tried to choke her because she was gurgling, and I didn't want her to be suffering. And so I tried to choke her, and I couldn't because it was so slippery. There was so much blood. And then I just left her there. And I went into the kitchen and got the duct tape, and I duct taped her leg because I didn't want her to get out of the bathroom and walk out and then tell on me. And so I tied her legs up, and I seen that she wasn't breathing anymore. And then I went and I heard my son get up, and he's saying, "Where's Mom? Where's Mom?" And I said, "Mom's fine, baby." And I took him into the living room and put cartoons on. And then I started cleaning up the blood. There was blood everywhere. And I was just using towels and anything I could find to clean up the blood. And then I cleaned up myself and got to put clothes on. And I took her mat cards, and I took my son. I packed a couple of days worth of clothes, and I left. And I went to the back machine and pulled out, I think it was $600. And I went to McKeesport and got a brick of heroin. And I went to the motel room with my son, and he was playing, and I called my friend because I didn't know how to shoot heroin. I never shot it before, and I really wanted to, so I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. And she came over and she did heroin with me, and she shot me my first time. She showed me how to do it. And then for the past them 4 or 5 days, I was just strung out in heroin.
This chilling description is enough to unsettle even an experienced police officer. Sarah is emotional now, but her complete lack of emotion during the murder suggests a psychotic state. However, the more likely reason she turned into a monster was her desperation for drugs.
And I went back to the house and I cleaned up the mess, and I wanted to put my mom in bed, but I just couldn't go to the bathroom. And instead I just got high. And then after the money was gone and the dope was gone, I left. It was the 7th, and I was going to go to my baby's dad's court date, and it got canceled, and I was speeding for dope, and I went and robbed the PNC bank, and then I got pulled over and arrested.
So the vehicle is owned by who?
My mother.
Your mother? And why wouldn't she allow you to take the vehicle?
Because I'm pretty sure she's seen out I was dope sick, and I'm pretty sure she knew I was going to go buy dope. And she didn't want me to do that. But I was just so sick.
Dawn just wanted Sarah to stay away from drugs, but ultimately, she became a victim at the hands of the one she wanted to protect.
So the first strike, you're behind your mom, and you hit her in the head. And then from there, did your mom fall to the ground at that point?
No, she got up and said, she looked at me and said, "What the f?"
Okay.
And that's when I jumped off the counter and started hitting her.
Sarah, where was your mom sitting when you first hit her?
The left seat. It was right in front of the counter, like right in front of the kitchen counter. Like her back was like towards the kitchen, so she couldn't see me. And she was watching TV and smoking a cigarette.
And you said you got the hammer from kitchen cabinet, correct?
The kitchen door.
Kitchen door. Was the hammer out for a while, or did you just grab it right at that time when you made that decision to hit her?
Just grabbed it.
Right, so you just struck her one time. Her response was, "Ow, what the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
Did she fall to the ground at all?
No, she didn't fall to the ground until I got off the counter and struck her again.
At that time, was she still sitting on the chair?
No, she fell by the TV.
In the living room? Okay, she fell to the ground. Describe to me what happened after that.
After that, Champ, the big dog, her big dog came out and heard her yelling, and he tried to stop me by nipping the back of my leg, but I hit him with the hammer in the head, and he stopped and went behind the couch, and that's when she ran to the door.
Dawn's loyal dog tried to protect her. However, in the midst of all this, he too suffered. We would just like to take a moment and point out the difference in affections of an animal compared to a human who killed her own mother because she was having withdrawals. And according to the neighbors, the dog howled for days after the murder.
Sarah, did your mom attempt to defend herself or stop the attack?
Yeah, when we were in the living room by the TV, she tried putting her hands up and blocking and tried to grab hold of my arm, my hand. But it was slippery.
Was she already bleeding by then?
Yeah.
Okay, while she's trying to defend herself, what did you do after that point, after striking her in the kitchen?
And then she was just laying there, like motionless, and so I thought she was dead. So I dragged her to the bathroom, and I laid her down, and she said she wasn't dead, and then she said, "You could use my car, And then that's when I tried to choke her, but there's too much blood and I couldn't grab hold of her neck.
Okay, sir, so you grab your mom while she's on the ground in the kitchen. How did you grab her? You grab her by her arms. At this point, is she fighting, squirming around at all? Okay, so you grab her by her arms.
Like she was like,
Her arms are up in the air.
Yeah.
Her feet are on the ground, and you're just pulling her backwards. Okay? So you pull her through the kitchen, through the living room, and down the hallway.
The story has been unveiled, but the investigators continue to try to dig deeper so that they can get the clearest picture of the whole incident.
So this got in the car, went to the snow cone.
Okay.
And then I went to the police board and got a brick here. And then I stayed at the Highland Terrace Hotel for a couple days.
Did you stop and get cash? Did you use these debit cards anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that.
About some ago, I used the Pinnacle account to get the money out. And then I used the Pinnacle one to get the room for a couple nights. And I paid cash some nights for the room. And then I used the choice checking to get cigarettes and food and stuff like that for the hotel.
Okay, so when you say you have a conversation with these people, telephone conversations, text conversations?
Text conversations.
And these text conversations were made on what? Mom's phone, your phone?
Mom's phone.
Your mom's phone. So you received text messages on your mom's telephone from coworkers, and you acted as if you were your mother. You responded to these messages acting as if your mother was responding. All right.
What friends or coworkers do you remember attempted to contact your mom?
Her friend, and then her boyfriend, and then my dad tried to call.
Anyone else try to contact her, either call her or text her?
My grandmother, but I didn't answer.
The details of these messages are not known, but it shows that Sarah was in a healthy mental state and was looking out for herself in that situation.
So how many days did you stay at this motel?
About 4 5 days.
Okay, so the first day we're going with Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Saturday morning.
You stayed there for 5 days, 5 nights, or 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So you left Saturday morning.
Around to about, he let me stay there a bit later because I just rented the room for so long, so I left there about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Saturday.
So Saturday, tell me about your day Saturday.
Saturday, I went and got, I think it was like 3 bundles. And then I went back to my house, the trailer, and I got high again. And then later that evening I went to the Walmart and got the cleaning supplies and the blue bin, and I went back to the house and I took the Christmas tree down and the Christmas decorations down, and I cleaned the entire house, like the floors and everything.
Okay, this is on Saturday. Okay, this is day number 4 after the incident that happened at the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you left the trailer, did you have telephone communication with anyone else other than me?
Mm-hmm.
Did you decide to call anyone? Did you decide to call the police, medics, anything? Okay, so your mom is in the trailer. At this point, do you think she's dead? Okay. You feel that she's dead at this point. No phone calls. All right. So you go about your day on Saturday. Okay.
Sarah made sure that the trailer home looked normal to outsiders. She made sure to remove the Christmas decorations so that people didn't start asking questions. So after learning this, can we say that she actually regretted it at this point? Or was keeping herself safe more important to her than her loving mother lying dead in the bathroom for 4 days?
Thank you. Right now it is 16:25 hours. That concludes our interview. Thank you, Sarah.
If there's any questions, you can sit in here for a minute. If there's any other questions, we'll come back and ask you. We're going to keep the audio and video recording running, okay? See if someone will sit with you, either myself or another trooper amongst your bros.
After the preliminary hearing, Sarah, who was charged with first-degree murder and also robbery, was taken to the Westmoreland County Prison. Her son remained in the custody of his paternal grandmother. The trial began 2 years after the confession, and in April 2016, Sarah pleaded guilty to first-degree murder in the case of her mother, and she was sentenced to life in prison.
I didn't do it. I would never hurt my family. You may not understand that.
I think that's offensive.
Okay, how is it more than it was a family?
Because I didn't kill my family, that's why.
On June 15, 2021, a 911 call led police to the Jackson home.
Lynn County Sheriff, where's your emergency? I've been shot. My other family member's been shot. I need help immediately.
Okay, I've got officers in the back and the front. That's why they're ringing your doorbell.
Right, but this sounds... If there's people in the house, there's no reason they can't come out.
The reason why the people inside the house couldn't come out was because they were dead. However, these cops had no idea what was awaiting inside the House of Horrors was a crime so shocking, the last time something like this was witnessed was in 1982.
Triple homicide anywhere would be a big story. We hadn't seen one, I think, since 1982.
Can you put your hands out to the side where I can see them?
The person they expected to catch was Jan Jackson, but he has already been dead for hours.
What happened? What happened? Who shot you? Who else is here? My sister. She's in the back? Yeah, she's in her room. Is she okay? I think so. What's her name? Sabrina? Sabrina? Is that a room right there?
Jan Jackson, Sabrina Jackson, and the third and final victim, Melissa Jackson, were all dead. The only person left alive to explain what had happened was Alex Jackson.
Alex, what happened?
There was a man?
What man?
A tall man?
Breathe and relax, all right? We're gonna help you out.
Help you out. 20? Okay. 1, 2, right under the foot.
We're at the limp out.
Coming out to you.
Yeah. You want me to go with him?
Yeah.
I tried asking him. He didn't. Yeah. He just said there's a man, and that's all further we got.
He was rushed for medical care and questioning, but little did the officers know it would be the beginning of this case full of bizarre events, because Alex's interrogation was happening in the most unlikely place. A hospital.
And who was there anyone else? Who lives with you at the house?
My mom, dad, sister, and dog.
Okay. Sister's name?
Sabrina. Like the witch.
Okay. How old is she?
19, 18.
Hey, Sabrina like the witch?
Yeah.
Is that a nickname you got?
Just serious.
Is Sabrina the teenage witch?
Yeah. That's not based on how she acts.
Alright, so you go to bed at about 11 last night on the porch. Were you the last one to go to bed?
Maybe. I think my mom was still walking around.
You see the silence? You see all on the bottom?
Yeah.
And no, Mom, Dad, and Sabrina were all at home too?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go to bed, and then what time did you wake up this morning?
I woke up and heard gunshots. I don't know where he was there.
No, there's a white man, black man, Hispanic, Asian.
Oh, I know he was wearing black clothes. I don't. I heard him downstairs, so I went downstairs. And he was messing with
My dad's gun. What kind of gun? 22. Right? Yeah. Yeah, do you have a mask on? Looks like, oh yeah, one of those, ski masks or whatever.
So you went downstairs, he was messing with your dad's gun. And then what happened?
Well, he's messing with her. And oh my dad, I think.
He called your dad?
Yeah.
What do you think that?
I don't know.
What was your dad saying anything to him?
He was on the floor. And I ran at him.
Your dad was?
Yeah, my dad was. You're at the guy with the gun? Yeah.
What stood out next in this case was Alex's emotionless and casual behavior. His family was slaughtered in his own home, and yet he displayed no heartbreak, no horror in the face of this tragedy. In fact, he appears to be coming up with responses on the fly as the questioning unfolds. It was this behavior that slowly shifted the narrative from sympathy to suspicion. The family was considered close-knit and lived a stable life, making the events that unfolded all the more shocking. Right away, it seems like we've heard and seen too much.
So you pushed him. Did he say anything to you?
I don't know.
You think someone was upset with your family?
It's just that way. I don't know what.
You don't know or what? Or what they'd be upset about? How do you feel about your family?
I love my family.
Did they ever do anything that upsets you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure. Tell me about that. What do they do that upsets you?
Oh, it's just like we have another certain things that work on it.
Yeah. What other families you got?
Most other families in Oregon. That's where we're from.
Sure. I know you said your parents were retired, but what did they do when they were?
Oh, he's 19 international paper? Yeah.
Just not retired now.
Yeah, he's retired.
If you're wondering why detectives were eyeing this young man who had just learned his family was dead, it was because the first red flag was the lack of forced entry into the house. Next, his story about an intruder crumbled when neighbors' CCTV footage was reviewed, which had captured everything around the Jackson home, except for any intruder. Was Alex the murderer or the fourth victim in this case? In about 10 seconds, you'll be able to notice the next red flag.
The things that you do with your dad, with the games, what else do you do?
We go shooting.
You go shooting?
Yeah.
Like at the shooting range?
We have a shortage.
What do you guys usually shoot when you go there?
One, like, drives out of the city. There's a shooting range over there.
What do you shoot? Like shotguns, handguns?
Oh, long guns.
Long guns?
There was a man there.
Alice, do you want to tell us what happened? What really happened?
We're not here to judge you at all. Like I said,
I went downstairs, and the man was there. I fought him. I got shot, and I think he left.
Alice, that's not what the evidence showed.
What do you mean?
Well, like I said, if there had been a person there would be some evidence that he showed up. There would also be evidence that he left, because he's not there now. And there is no evidence for that. No one else was there.
Well, what are you guys trying to say?
Well, what we're trying to tell you is that we know what happened. And what we'd like you to tell us is why. Not you, you don't need to tell us exactly every detail. But if you can kind of give us some sort of idea on why people do these things, I don't know.
why do you want to continue to hold this in? I mean,
because I'm right.
Do you really think that, or are you ashamed right now?
I know I'm right.
So that pretty much is my knowledge.
Okay. Well, what if I told you that your knowledge isn't right?
What do you mean?
Like, you know how, like, 1 plus 1 will equal 2? And
Sure.
like, even if you tell me it equals 3, I'm going to tell you, no, it doesn't. Because it's 1 plus 1 is 2.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like, also when we have evidence and we add it all up, this is that scenario where 1 plus, you're trying to tell me 1 plus 1 is 3. Okay? And it's not.
I'm sorry, can I tell you? Started in front of my office.
So what?
Just did.
When you say they were slaughtered in front of your eyes, what do you mean by that?
Well, they're dead.
Okay. Well, I just want to understand why, Alex. Why you there? What? You're not dumb.
Thanks.
You're not dumb. Okay. So if we're on the same page with that, you don't think I'm dumb. I don't think you're dumb. Then why would you play this charade?
I'm telling you what.
And now she made the point about when you shot yourself in the foot that
I didn't shoot myself.
well, you said that earlier.
Well, maybe I shot myself.
Right.
Assumed guilt introduces mental stress, and proximity adds physical discomfort, creating a compounded sense of urgency and disorientation. By asking questions that imply guilt like, you shot yourself, rather than, did you shoot yourself? Detective Sarah sets a frame where Alex is already seen as guilty. This puts him on the defensive, making him more likely to explain or justify actions rather than outright deny involvement.
You shot yourself in the foot.
Well, maybe you told him, right?
Well, you wouldn't know that. I mean, let's get back to the point of you're not dumb and I'm not dumb. Okay. You shot yourself in the foot. And then,
Let's say
okay. I guess then you said it didn't hurt quite as bad as you thought it would.
now I think it was quite a drama.
Well, sure. Probably. And that's why once you get that adrenaline dumps going, that's when you said it hurt a little bit more after that. But so, because you have to shoot yourself in the foot for it to have a story of it being an accident. You know what I mean? It's, your family doesn't.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, but you wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to do that either, but you have to, because how can everybody else
Why would I do something like this?
to make it look like someone else did?
But I just...
Alex, every time we talk about it, I can see right now, your vein tells me that your heart's beating real fast.
Yeah, I'm getting mad.
The monitor tells me it does.
Here's another bizarre aspect of this interrogation. Questioning Alex in the hospital changes the game entirely. The whole setup is acting as an unintentional lie detector, amplifying every crack in his story. By conducting the interrogation in the hospital, a place of recovery and rest, Alex is denied the time to think and further establish his story as a victim himself.
We reverse spots right now. Would you believe me? No, for a fact, nobody came and went from the house. That's fact. They told us that. Just hear me out. Okay, so put yourself in my shoes. I'm sitting here and you're sitting here. You know for a fact nobody came and went. You know that there were.
Because I know for a fact that someone was in my house.
Okay, well, you're in my shoes now. Okay? And officers, 20 officers have been in the area. They've gone to every house. They picked up every sort of camera footage there is. Nobody came and went through your house. In order to fight somebody off, you would have like defensive wounds or things like that, you know?
Well, maybe I spooked him or something.
Well, but if you spooked him, then when someone gets scared, then they take off and run.
Well, right. But on my sister might just or my friends. Or that on my sister and my friends or something.
Imaginary scenarios are effective ways to gauge reactions to hypothetical scenarios, which are close to the real events. So far, as you'd notice, there's a duality in Alex's actions, which reveals a paradox. Intelligent enough to attempt deception, but careless enough to leave gaps and emotionally detached to the point of rejecting it when it could have served him.
I did not become a sport in commotion.
Huh?
I want the guy found.
Yeah, well, we found the guy.
Found the guy?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, we did.
It's not me.
Why didn't you say it was you? Why would you say it
Or
was
is this you guys keep going back to it?
You just told me that. I never. Well, if we got a report on something too, we have to have evidence. And if we make a column of evidence that Alex did this, evidence that unidentified male did this, when we start putting in, okay, nobody, on all the surrounding cameras in the neighborhood, and given that it's like a dead-end road, nobody came and left. Okay, so that doesn't go in a column of some unknown guy showing up at your residence. We have no forced entry, okay? That doesn't really work. Okay, so that goes in the Alex column also. And we have family members shot to death in the head and in bed. That goes in this column. And then we have Alex saying he might have shot himself in the foot, or it might have been the other guy. Not real sure. However, the trajectory and the evidence is going to show that he shot himself in the foot. That's going to go in this column too. So what I'm saying is, when you put all these together, we have nothing other than Alex saying, unidentified male who did not break into the house and used the gun that was, he broke into a house and used the gun that was in the house. How would you know there was one in there? Makes no sense. Okay? That's because there is no man, Alex. You were sleeping. You wake up. Your sister didn't, because you shot her before she could wake up.
Alex, your sister was sleeping when she was shot.
I can tell you don't like your sister, because you don't get any.
Well, you guys are taking that out too.
Well, I'm a
worked up.
Well, I'm a bit worked up the fact that you think we're that stupid. It's really offensive, honestly. It's offensive that I just spelled out all of the evidence to you, and that you're going to sit here and tell me, basically, I think you're dumb, is what you're saying without saying it. I think that's offensive.
Alex, you're more than just a family. Alex, listen.
Because I didn't kill my family, that's why.
The reason that this is so clear on what happened is because you didn't think it through that well.
Exactly.
And you didn't think it through that well, Alex, because I'm willing to bet that right up until the point when you pulled the trigger, you were having second thoughts.
Even after employing about a dozen tactics and pointing out so many inconsistencies, Alex is still sticking to his intruder story. However, the story fails in the face of the facts. The murder weapon, a Browning .22 caliber rifle that belonged to the family, had Alex's palm prints on it. It would also have to be reloaded for firing so many shots, and was not a simple, easy-to-use weapon. Its complexity meant that anyone unfamiliar with it would face difficulty operating it effectively. The police, despite being trained, had to consult an online tutorial on how to operate the gun properly.
You told the dispatcher your mom was dead.
Well, there was shots.
Well, doesn't mean she was shot. You know how you told the dispatcher that? Because you knew it. Because you saw her.
I didn't see nothing on there before.
Well, you did when you pulled the trigger. And I know that pisses you off to hear it, but it pisses me off that you're making me have to say it.
Pisses me off that you think you did it.
I don't think you did it.
You don't think I did it?
I know you did it. Look at this. Look at your foot.
You shot yourself.
Nobody gets an injury like that.
Okay, people, shoot yourself in the foot. That's what, you know what, when people accidentally get shot in the foot, it goes through the ankle. I've seen it.
Don't shoot themselves in the top of the foot unless they're going, oh, but I gotta be shot too, but I'm not gonna shoot myself in the head. I shot my family in the head, but I'm not gonna do that to myself. What I'm gonna do is, okay, what's gonna hurt the least? So I don't have the courage to do anywhere else. So you shoot yourself in the foot because you think that's gonna hurt the least. And then you make the comment, you know what, really didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would. Because you thought about how bad this is going to hurt when you pulled the trigger.
Well, I thought previously, you know.
You thought previously?
I thought before, you know.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't sit there and go, okay, this is going to hurt.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Well, and then you were pleasantly surprised that after you shot yourself in the foot, it didn't hurt as bad as you thought it would.
At the time, sure.
Right. You were pleasantly surprised that did not hurt as bad as you had made it up in your
head. It wasn't pain, I was like,
and you were surprised, right? You were like, wow, I just shot myself in the foot, and that didn't hurt.
Alex clings to his lies like a lifeline. He knows confessing would unravel everything he's worked so hard to conceal. But the most important question here is, how long can he keep it up?
They were two young men that shot and killed their parents in their home and said it was an intruder. But later, when they went to jail, they changed their stories that Dad was abusing them and had been for pretty much their whole lives. And that was what they went to court with as part of their defense. And this has got a lot of honors of that. My parents did good story. Right.
This is the moment when these cops would make some progress, and soon they would come as close as they could to getting a confession from Alex.
How do you support yourself right now? How much support for yourself? Financially. Yeah. Who pays for your Chick-fil-A? Well, my parents, yes. I'm 20 years old. Yeah. Who's going to pay for it tomorrow?
Do you have money in the bank?
$30. So you got $30 in the bank. I guess I have money, but right. I guess. Once I got the job. So you can continue to stay as long as you can get a job. But if you didn't, then what? He might have told you he was going to kick you out. That's not good. Because he said that. Right. Okay. I just want to say, do it imply it. She implied it, right? Because when he didn't understand what you were going through, he probably didn't even try to understand it. I don't understand it. You have to understand, otherwise he would have given you a little more flexibility with this. Back on, take a look at his foot for a second.
Hi, Andrew. I'm Dr. Dole. I'm your podiatry. Nice to meet you. So, your doctor just asked me to come take a look at your foot to see if there's anything we need to do. So, that's all right. I'm just going to take a look. Okay. Are you having a lot of pain right now?
Not right now.
Okay.
By the time doctors finally checked on Alex, his foot had been bleeding for about 4 hours, a detail that didn't go unnoticed. The fact that medical intervention was delayed and that he was under the influence of prior medication would add layers of doubt to the reliability of his responses and become one of the biggest controversies of this case. This misstep by detectives may have jeopardized the integrity of the whole process.
Hey, a few more developments. Okay. I'd like to chat about, maybe you could tell me about your foot too. I'm going to read your rights again, just like we did before, okay? Okay. You have the right to remain silent. Hey, so I know when we left, we kind of told you where we were at on this thing, and you told us where you were at on that thing. So one of the big things that we needed to really hammer out was this video, right? This ring video from your house that would help substantiate some of what you told us. And I talked to my guy Jeff. He does all the forensic or digital forensic type stuff, phones and computers and cameras and things like that for us. Good news, he did a search warrant for the ring and got it back. There are no clips of anyone leaving your house. That one in the back, there is a clip there that they were looking at, and it just kind of, we use that as an example of how much of your yard it covered. That was the whole backyard.
Okay, I didn't know that was what in the back.
Yeah.
I thought it was just one.
So there's that one, right? And there's that one camera in the backyard. And again, I mean, they're apparently motion activated.
Because last night, didn't they get him dumping water off the...
Yeah, you can't.
Dump some water off the back? A bucket of water?
Maybe my parents did.
No, he said they look like you. Does your dad look like you?
Sure.
Okay. Well, someone went out back, dumped a bucket of water, maybe went up to that screened-in porch.
Okay.
Oh, okay, you clearly didn't know about the camera, but I'm telling you, there's a camera back there. It captures your whole backyard, including what appeared to be you. I didn't personally see it. I'm just relaying what he told me.
Okay.
And he also told me there's no video of anyone leaving.
Okay.
The front, same thing.
This was Alex's breaking point. The moment he realized the backyard he thought was hidden had been quietly surveilled. Another shocking element in this case is the fact that this case would be solved because there was no one caught on camera.
It was at 8:12 when you said that or you need to call 911.
21.
8:21? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I may have gotten that slightly wrong.
But when I called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long before that did you wake up for the day?
5 to 10 minutes, I don't know.
Okay, so conservatively we could say you were asleep till at least 8 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay. So who's using your phone at 6 a.m. to get on social media? Who's using your phone at 6 a.m. to get on social media?
This was the moment Alex realized he wasn't as smart as he thought he was. He had messed up pretty bad.
Maybe me? I don't know. I don't remember.
But how could you use it at 6 if you were asleep till 8? You see what we're saying, Alex? It's time.
Alex.
Time to just.
Not the point.
The gig's up, bud.
No one left. You're awake much earlier than you called. Okay, because you're brainstorming how to get your ass out of this trouble you're in. When you heard shots, you said you told us earlier that you'd heard maybe 10 shots.
Something like that.
Sure. They're just in a row? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 or whatever? In a row? All one little burst?
No. Maybe some bursts, but not in a row.
Okay. Tell us about that.
I was just in like a few bursts or something.
How long are we talking about? 10 seconds total, or 5 seconds, or 2 seconds? Or 10 minutes?
A minute, maybe?
So there's a little gap, and there's like a minute?
Yeah, 10, let's say 10 shots in a minute or something.
Okay. Okay, so in that minute, when did you wake up? You clearly woke up after the first shot. Otherwise you wouldn't guess there was 10, right? Or what you perceived to be the first shot.
Sure, yeah.
Right. Came in, went straight downstairs. Well, how's the bad guy supposed to get past you upstairs to kill your mom? And then come back downstairs only to be standing down there when you get down there to confront him.
Well, he was kind of a bit slow about getting downstairs, but that's...
He was or you were?
I was, I guess.
We took into account your theory about a ski masked intruder coming in with the worst description on the planet, and we gave it due diligence. Okay? I told you we went into this, and there was nothing about this story that seemed like it was an intruder, right? But you didn't want to change your story. You wanted to stick with the intruder. And we wanted to be thorough. And we wanted to be thorough in the really, really off chance. And I know why. And the why's a pretty good reason. Okay, you got a lot of baggage dealing with that family. I get it. We all know about it. We took into account your story. And now that we've completely thrown that out, knowing that that's not possible, we're coming to you for an explanation. Not some story. A story's made up. An explanation for what brought you there today. What got you to that point in your life?
It's not. Alex.
You developed that story before you realized there was a camera on the back of your house. Because I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think Dad puts those things out. You don't pay that close attention to them. And that's just one of those things. You weren't thinking straight, Alex. You weren't. People now.
Because this is what's happening, Alex. I just remember earlier today we talked about what do you want to happen at the end of the day? You want to go home, right? Well, you're not going to go home.
Okay.
You're being charged with murder of your mom, your dad, and your sister. And you're going to go to jail.
The trial began in January 2023. After deliberating for about 6 hours, a jury found Alex guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Alexander Jackson, guilty of the offense of murder in the first degree.
She raised you and you killed her. You grabbed a kitchen knife and you stabbed your own mother in the back. You're sick.
This is 22-year-old Nathaniel Shimmel, who brutally stabbed his mother, 50-year-old Michelle Shimmel, on August 23, 2017. Moments after the murder, Nathaniel made this 911 call, weaving a story of a burglary turned violent in order to cover his own tracks.
Hi, County 911. What's going on there?
I think he hurt my mom.
Who's he?
I don't know. He was wearing one of those robber masks.
Nathaniel is alarmingly calm for a son whose mother just got stabbed by a robber. Later in the interrogation room, he will be seen telling the same story.
I opened the slider and I went out there and she was outside on the ground with a knife in her back. And the man, tall with a robber mask was going left, running.
However, he was unable to keep up with this version when he got interrogated by an aggressive cop.
You're just a psychopath who kills their mother for no reason.
It would be interesting to see now how meticulously and skillfully the detective rips away Nathaniel's carefully crafted narrative, leaving him nowhere to hide.
You got any questions or anything about anything that we're doing? No? Have you ever been to a police department before? No. So, can you tell me about your day today? Like, what was it like? Where were you today?
I was just at home on the computer.
What time did you get up?
Around 10.
10? Is that a normal time that you wake up?
Yeah.
You wake up at 10, and then what? Who's home? You by yourself?
Yeah.
Of course, Nathan's best buddy wouldn't lie, or would he? Christian's testimony not only cleared Nathan's father, but also offered a peek into Nathan's strained and bitter view of his family, and what he reveals doesn't paint a pretty picture.
When I first met, it was, oh, yeah, my mom's a little bit weird. This is my sister. She likes horses. This is my dad. And became, my mom's a idiot, my dad's abusive, and my sister's a and I never believed that his family deserved to be called that.
Right.
Based on his behavior and indifference, it makes anyone wonder what fueled Nathan's bitterness toward his family. In a case like this, every clue has the power to either solidify Nathan's narrative or completely shatter it.
Tell me about the rest of your day. Uncle Greg comes over, does whatever.
She comes home eventually after that. She takes the dogs out, go to the bathroom. She lets the cats out on the porch. Mm-hmm. I guess she left it unlocked. She usually locks it and keeps me out there.
Mm-hmm. She what?
She locks me out because she doesn't want me coming in the house.
Who?
My mom.
Why?
She thinks I'm not looking for a job.
Okay, I'm confused. So she expects you to be out looking for a job during the day.
But since she locked me out of the house, I don't have any way of showering or getting changed or anything.
Okay, and how long has that been going on?
Like 2 or 3 days, I think.
Okay. Have you tried to look for a job? Okay. All right. So you've been sleeping outside?
Yeah, out on the porch. I've got 2 fans.
That's kind of... And that's, I mean, is somebody trying to convince your mom to tell you to do that, or?
I don't know.
Did you guys discuss it at all? That's crazy.
She just said, you're not looking for a job, so you're going to be locked out there.
That's really, that's crazy.
Yeah, I guess.
So what do you tell her about that?
I just said, well, I am, but she's like, well, you don't have any proof of that you're going out.
Yeah, but like, I mean, how does she expect you to get a job if you can't go in the house? And...
I don't know.
Did you ask her that?
I tried to ask, but she just, basically, she's really stubborn and she just wouldn't give a reason.
Okay.
Nathaniel portrays himself as someone who's helpless and maybe tries to garner some sympathy with the detective.
Okay. So you're on the back porch, your mom comes home at 5. Mm-hmm. Does she talk to you? Does anything?
No.
No conversation at all?
Not really, no.
Okay. So then take me through what happens.
She, left the door locked and left the cats on. I guess she never locked it. Then
I thought you said the house was locked.
She is. I'm talking about the porch door.
Oh, the porch door.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And like before that, she'd taken the dog to go to the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
And then later I heard her scream and I went out into the living room and, outside.
How did you get to the living room?
The porch door was unlocked, so I opened it up and I went. And I went outside. The door was open. The front door.
Where did you hear the screaming from?
Somewhere in front of the house, either like right by the door or outside.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So you hear some screaming, so you go into the house. Did any part of you think that it was inside the house?
No, it sounded like it was by the front door.
Okay. So you're watching a video here on the back porch. You hear the scream. And you felt it was coming from somewhere in the front.
Mm-hmm.
So you went through the house, through the living room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then when you went through the living room, you went out the front door?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you walked out the front door, what did you see?
I saw him going off on the left, running away.
And this guy was wearing what?
He was wearing those ski masks, so that's really LA.
Okay. So he was wearing
the robber masks.
Robber mask.
Yeah.
Okay. And you see her by the tree.
Mm-hmm.
How is she laying?
She was like on her back like this. I don't know what her arms are, but she had a knife like right in kind of like the top of her back or something.
The top of her back?
Mm-hmm.
Sticking out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like here's the handle.
Okay. So you see that, and how far away from her is he?
Quite a distance. He was like right about around the corner where all the other houses are.
Uh-huh.
Here is where things take an interesting turn. According to Nathan, the robber ran away after stabbing his mother. If that were the case, then why didn't he call 911 right then and there? Why take the car and drive miles away to make the call? There's certainly some sinister motive behind his actions.
My main question is why wouldn't you call 911 from your house?
I want to make sure I was safe before I did it.
Okay. So what went through, I mean, were you concerned about being safe when you went up to her?
I don't know. I was just in a blind panic.
A blind panic?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try to turn her over or no?
No.
No. Was she making any sounds? No.
No.
And what was he doing?
He was running away.
Towards a car or what?
I don't know. He was just like going around the corner.
Okay. So, I guess I don't understand not calling 911 from that point. I mean, even as you're driving.
I don't know. I didn't. I had to make sure I was safe before I called. I didn't want to call while driving because I thought I might crash into something.
Okay. So you called. After you got there. How far is it from your house?
It's like 5 minutes.
Okay. So, did you try any type of CPR or anything like that? No. Okay. Where was there blood in front of your house?
There was blood in, like, before the front door, I think. I thought there was blood outside where she was.
There was blood in front of the front door?
Yeah.
So rather than call 911, you got in your car.
Yeah.
And you drove how many miles?
I think half a mile. It's not that far.
And then they had to tell you to call 911. Because I've been sitting here and listening to your excuses and whatever you're saying. And it's gotten a little bit aggravating, especially when you haven't asked once how she's doing, which I think is strange. I mean, you're 22 years old. Your mother raised you. And you don't want to know how she's doing? I think you know how she's doing. I think that's the problem. I think you know how she's doing.
Is she okay?
Why don't you tell me?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't want to know?
No, I don't.
So then why'd you ask me?
Because you said.
Okay. Your mom's dead. You already knew that, though. That's why you don't ask. Do you know how many times everybody else asked me? Everybody else asked me. Except for you. I'm not even done telling you the crazy. So brace yourself.
What?
Do you know what high velocity blood spatter is? And guess what? Your DNA and your skin is going to be under her fingernails. Huh?
Why would it be though?
I just told you because she scratched you.
I just want to cone the car though?
That is not from a cone. Those are scratches.
No. Don't look like it.
You don't know? So I tell you that your mother's dead. Let that sink in for a second.
What? No.
Yeah?
No. Didn't an ambulance pick her up?
No, an ambulance didn't pick her up. Do you know why an ambulance didn't pick her up?
Why?
Because she was dead. Because when you left her, she was dead, and you didn't call anybody. You just got in your car and drove a couple of miles away. You can't tell me how some of this blood splattered all over your shirt. You do this, and you hit, right? The blood spatters, okay? That's how it works. Do you know what physics is? That's how it works. If you're standing on the back porch and somebody else stabs your mother, that blood doesn't end up on your shirt. So explain to me why your mother's blood is splattered at a high velocity. Are you just trying to piss me off? I don't understand.
Oh.
You're making up bullshit over and over. You're digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole, man. You're digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole. Every lie you tell is digging you a deeper and deeper hole. And once you start making up invisible masked people who don't exist, that's when you get into even deeper trouble. Just tell me how the blood gets flung all over your shirt. Tell me. Because nothing in your story explains any of that. Did you do CPR?
No.
You didn't do CPR?
No.
Do you know how to do CPR?
Mm-mm.
No. Why didn't you run to a neighbor's house?
I don't know.
Why haven't you still reacted since I've told you that your mother's dead? You still haven't reacted.
There's no way.
She's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, she is. She's dead. Never coming back. Never gonna say another word to you. But she knows what you did. She knows what you did. There's only one person with blood spatter all over their shirts. You know who it isn't? Your dad. Your dad doesn't have anything on his shirt. Your dad doesn't have any crazy stories.
He doesn't have any shirts in his truck or anything?
No. Just you. With blood all over your toes. With scratches on your arm. You lost a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah? You got a stretch on your V-neck.
That's a V-neck.
I know what a V-neck is. You got blood, your mom's blood, your dead mother's blood on your chest. You've still got your dead mother's blood on your chest right now. If you didn't think she was dead, you wouldn't have left, my man. You would have called 911. If you didn't think she was, you already knew what I told you. You didn't even flinch. Did she scratch you earlier in the day?
No.
So you're going to maintain that you got scratches from a human being on your left arm from leaning up against the cone. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? Explain that to me. Because that's just like the fucking science with the blood spatter with you. So explain to me how that happens.
Nathan's story of a robbery gone wrong is unraveling fast, and his desperate attempts to blame his father are falling apart. The very nature of the blood splatter is enough to paint him as the killer. There is no way to deny it, and Nathaniel saying he does not know does not help him at all.
Tell me, I'm listening.
I was just leaning up against the car in the car.
Do you react to anything?
What do you mean?
You don't react to anything. You're not, you're just in here stone cold, like you don't give a about anything I'm telling you. You're sitting on the back porch because your mom won't let you in the house. You've been sitting on the back porch basically for 3 days, right? Okay. Do you hear a scream? You hear a scream, right? From the time that you hear the scream until the time that you make it to your mother, how long does it take?
I don't know. I was moving pretty fast.
Fast? Okay. Moving pretty fast?
Yeah.
From the back of the house to the front of the house, what does that take? 7 seconds? 8 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jesus Christ, man. A dead animal is twitching for longer than 10 seconds after it's been shot right in the head. But you're telling me that from the time you went from the back, you heard the scream, you immediately got up, you walked to the front, you walked to where your mother is, while this masked person ran away. He doesn't exist. That person doesn't exist. I just don't know why you keep going with it.
There's surveillance footage, though.
Okay, and there was nobody. I said, what is the surveillance footage going to show?
It's going to show him, though.
It's going to show him?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that there's nobody else.
It's not true.
It is true. There's nobody else. All the evidence points to one person, and that person is sitting in this room with me. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
What am I telling you?
You said that I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't though.
Okay. But you can't explain all the science that points to you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in magic?
No.
No? Well, I mean, that's about the only other way, right? Listen. You've had a long day. You've got, what's that?
I just want to go to bed. Tired.
Yeah. So you've got human scratch marks on your arm that you're blaming on a cone. You've got a bunch of blood on your shirt that you cannot explain. Listen to me, man. Tell me where else the blood would come from.
I don't know.
Give me a theory.
I was pulling out the knife and it got on me. I don't know.
You were pulling out the knife and it got on you.
I don't know how else it was.
But you didn't move the knife. The knife is still in her.
Well, I didn't take it out, no.
No. That doesn't create high velocity spatter. Remember? That makes high velocity spatter. A slashing motion makes high velocity spatter. Maybe you and your mom get into an argument and then you try to scare her and it gets carried away. Maybe she hits you. I don't know. Maybe she hits you and you react on instinct.
No, she hit me.
Huh?
She wouldn't hit me though.
She wouldn't hit you?
No.
She knocked your glasses off your face.
Well, she didn't.
Just like her blood isn't splattered all over your shirt.
It is though.
It is. That's right. And you're telling me that from touching a knife and not pulling it out, that's how that happened?
So what?
So what happened?
I told you already. Why would I stab my mom?
Maybe because she made you stay on the back porch. I don't know you and your mom. Maybe because you got scared. Maybe because she attacked you first. I don't know.
She won't do that though.
Okay, man, but you're also telling pork pies and telling us that your dad did it.
Well, who else would have?
Do you think that it's a logical thing that your dad, why would it be more logical that your dad would kill her than you would kill her?
Because she kept kicking him out of the house and he has anger issues.
What about you?
I get along with my mom, my sister.
You get along with your mom?
Yeah.
And yet you have no reaction when I tell you that she's been murdered.
There's no.
She's been murdered? Yeah. Yeah, she's been murdered. You want me to get some pictures? You want me to get some pictures and show you what happened to your mom while you were standing right there?
Nathan's attempts to weave a web of lies are almost impressive in their ludicrousness. Claiming he and his mother got along pretty well while shifting blame onto his father is just another layer to his crumbling facade. And the truth? It's closing in fast, and there's nowhere left for him to hide.
Your mother's watching you. She's dead. She's watching you. You're seeing it in your head right now. You're seeing what happened. You're playing it over in your head. You're playing exactly the moment that your mother was killed in your head right now. You were not on the back porch. You were right there. And you know it. And that's why her blood is all over your shirt. So explain to me why this happened, or are you just a psychopath who kills her mother for no reason? That's what you did to her. She raised you and you killed her. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. You grabbed the kitchen knife and you stabbed your own mother in the back. What kind of person stabs their own mother in the back? Huh? A piece of a complete psychopath? And then to blame it on your Dad, you're sick. You're a sick. And you can't even own up to. You can't even look at me in the eyes. You're staring at the ground like a little. Because you can't tell me what you did. She's cut up pretty bad. And you know that. And you know that because you were there. And you weren't on the back. You were right there. Something happened. And in the spur of the moment, you lashed out. And there's no master guy. An evil person would sit here knowing that their mother is watching them from above, desperately trying to understand how a child that she raised and probably sacrificed more than you could imagine kills her. You should be ashamed of yourself, man. Your mother's up there, and you can't even admit to what you did. All you can do, man, is ask God for forgiveness, man. You know. Tell me what happened. It's okay.
The detective's demeanor now changed from aggressive and dominant to one of empathy. He consoles Nathan, attempting to connect with him on an emotional level. His attempt is to make Nathaniel realize the gravity of his action, and it works. In response to the detective, Nathaniel finally breaks down and confesses the whole truth.
What? What? It was an accident. I didn't mean to. You didn't mean to? No. It happened. It's okay. Just talk to me. You did the right thing. I didn't mean to. How did it happen? I figured that, man. I didn't mean to. Okay. You need some water? No. What happened? Oh, I believe you, man. I believe you. An accident is totally different. So how did the accident happen? I'll get you some paper towels. That was the hardest part, Nate. Tell me what happened. How did it happen? She was gonna take me out. We had an argument. Mm-hmm. There was a knife on the counter. I panicked. I just reached for it. Mm-hmm. She, You just panicked. You panicked because she was going to kick you out. Yeah, I didn't want to go on. Okay. What do you think? Okay. And you guys were standing in the kitchen? Yeah. Okay. So she told you she was going to kick you out, and you panicked. Yeah. And did she do something to make it worse? I mean, what happened? She was just yelling at me, and she grabbed me, and I panicked. So did she grab you? She just grabbed my arm, just tried to talk to me. Uh-huh. I panicked. Okay. And then what? It just happened. Where did you cut her? The neck, I think. Okay. And how did the knife end up in her back? I put it there so if I couldn't do it, I didn't need to. I don't hate her. You don't hate her? No.
Shit, I just kept stabbing.
You just kept stabbing? Yeah. Was that in the house?
Yeah. She tried to get away, so I grabbed her.
She tried to get out of the house?
Yeah, but I was scared and I knew I was going to go to jail now.
On August 23rd, 2017, an argument between Nathaniel and his mother escalated. Michelle Shimmel wanted her son to get a job and contribute to the household. But Nathan, content with playing video games all day, grew enraged. Acting on his emotions, he stabbed his mother multiple times and then left the scene to craft his alibi. Even with all the evidence and testimonies, Nathaniel didn't try to change it around. While it's highly debatable whether he was autistic, Nathaniel could have had a completely different fate if he hadn't walked down the dark path. A path that led him straight into the confines of prison. Nathaniel Shimmel was initially charged with first-degree murder for the brutal stabbing of his mother, Michelle Shimmel, on July 13, 2020. However, on December 16, 2020, he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder as part of a plea agreement, resulting in the dismissal of the first-degree charge. He was subsequently sentenced to 50 years in prison, with the possibility of parole and lifetime probation upon release. The judge also granted him credit for the 1,211 days he had already served since his arrest on the day of the murder. Michelle Shimmel was a devoted mother who worked tirelessly to keep her family afloat.
911, what is your emergency? What is going on? Hello?
My mom with a knife.
Who has a knife?
My sister. Quick! Oh my God! Quick, now!
On November 16, 2012, at approximately 1:15 a.m., 13-year-old Megan Zanella called 911 in a state of shock. She witnessed the horrifying scene of her foster sister, Sabrina Zunic, fatally stabbing her mother, Lisa Nofel. However, the story takes a shocking turn when Sabrina claims to have no memory of her actions.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand?
No.
Well, you had a knife. And you stabbed Lisa.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Sabrina masks her guilt with a facade of innocence, but the detectives are on the brink of unraveling the family's dirtiest secret.
What do you remember?
Everything except...
Were you taking any illegal narcotics yesterday?
No. I don't do drugs.
You don't do drugs? When was the last time you did drugs?
3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago? Okay. You have not had any illegal drugs since then?
The detectives question Sabrina about possible drug use, both to assess its potential connection to the crime and to determine whether it might influence the reliability of her answers.
Okay. You were at home all night yesterday? Okay. After you ate dinner, did you have this opportunity to say goodbye to Kevin?
I was at the computer desk.
You're at the computer desk?
No, I went to the living room also because I was printing my bracelet. I mean, I was in the living room, I was in the kitchen, and I was in the office. That's it. Excuse me. I mean, I believe so, yeah, he just said bye, because he always says bye to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we either say bye, Chihuahua, he like kisses him. Well.
Okay. You had an argument or anything with Lisa last night?
No.
No?
Everything was fine.
Everything's fine? Okay. Have you had these type of issues in the past where you just don't remember things?
I'm not positive. I mean, I know I was in my other group homes. When I was in a fight with other people, I blacked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember it.
What do you think happened to your hands?
I don't know. I was saying that I'm being charged with homicide.
Well, I'm investigating that. Do you remember blood being all over you?
No, but I can see it all over my legs.
There was blood all over your face or blood all over your body. That's why you're not in your clothes. Do you remember your clothes?
I remember.
It becomes clear that Sabrina is faking memory loss, as she recalls details about everyone else, but claims to draw a blank regarding her actions. A more sinister motive might be at play, and she could try to appear insane to evade the consequences of her actions. When criminals try to fake insanity, memory loss is often used as a tactic to dodge specific details. But what shocked the detectives was the motive behind the murder and the revelation of the mastermind who had planted the idea of insanity in Sabrina's mind.
What happened to your hands? I mean, did you see when they were at the hospital what your hands looked like?
No.
You didn't see it? So you don't know what's wrong with your hands?
They obviously been cut because they told me that.
They were cut? It's cut pretty bad?
5 stitches.
How many?
5.
5? In your, what, right hand?
2 and 1 and 3 in the other. I don't know which one is where.
Okay. Did you see the stitches? Did you see what they did? No. You have no idea how that could have happened?
No.
Nothing?
Lisa's death was violent, but she managed to inflict defensive wounds on Sabrina in the process. In pursuit of a breakthrough, the detectives inquire about Sabrina's foster father, Kevin Nofel. What they uncover goes beyond their expectations, exposing the family's darkest secret.
How do you get along with Kevin?
Kevin and me are cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's more the one that helps me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this has Megan to deal with. Megan has mental instabilities herself.
Okay.
And so we made agreements a long time ago that if I need anything, that I could go to Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was major that she needed to be involved in, then he would ask, but not to be concerned about small things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's already stressing her out because of her job, and Haley and Megan.
Initially, Sabrina and Lisa shared a close bond, but that changed when Sabrina began to feel that Lisa favored her daughters over her. This belief is thought to have been instilled by Kevin, with whom Sabrina grew closer as her relationship with Lisa deteriorated.
How about with Lisa? How are you dealing with her?
Me and Lisa have never been the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never tried to hurt her, never had any thoughts of hurting her. Yeah, it's been emotional and mental abuse from her to me.
Mm-hmm.
She put her hands on me, not fighting, but restraining me because I wouldn't give an iPod to her. And I don't know. I don't know. She never seemed to like me, and she's been wanting me out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
By addressing the obvious issue directly, the detectives hope it would help jog her memory and get her into revealing more details.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now?
What?
What is your thoughts on that she is not alive? Maybe you didn't understand. That's what we're talking to you about.
She didn't kill me.
Mm-hmm. She said that.
You should have told me I did it.
Yes. But most of that blood was probably hers.
That's why we need you to concentrate and think about what happened.
Sabrina pretends to be unaware of Lisa's death, but the detectives remain unmoved. Lisa endured the onslaught, suffering 178 stab wounds. Her injuries ranged from numerous defensive wounds on her hands and arms to devastating wounds where the knife was twisted with such force that it severed an artery and even cut through bone.
What's going to happen to Haley, Megan, and Kevin?
Haley, Megan, and Kevin are all safe. They're at home right now. Haley's with Judy, all right? And Megan's with their dad. And Kevin's with Judy also. Anything coming back?
No.
Recall coming out of the bedroom with a knife in your hand?
No.
Well, you had a knife. And you stabbed Lisa.
I did.
Yes, you did. And Megan called the police.
That can't be true.
Bree, it is. I'm sorry.
Through her diminished emotional responses and disorganized thoughts, Sabrina is attempting to frame the events of November 16th as a psychotic episode. However, the detectives see through this futile act and keep the focus on her.
I've never been a murderer.
We need to know, that's why we're asking you to think about it. We need to know how to help you, okay? And we don't know that until we need to get some facts and find out what's going on. And that'll give us the best course on how to proceed from here and help you, help the family, and go on from there.
What do you want me to eat?
We don't want you to say anything except the truth, and we just want you to think about it, because something happened by the time you were getting your meds in the bathroom there for your headache, and then one of our police officers arriving. So something happened in between that time, and we're just trying to get to the truth of that and find out what happened.
I don't know.
Do you have a Facebook account?
Yes.
You do? Were you on Facebook last night?
Yes.
Talk to anybody?
Yes, but not much.
Not much? Were you into messaging anybody?
Yes.
Who?
This kid named Bobby.
What's Bobby's last name?
I don't know.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
How do you know him?
Skating.
From skating?
United States.
Go to school with him?
No.
No? How old is he?
15 or 16.
Okay, so a little younger than you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm usually just helping him. He has mental instability.
Okay. Have you ever thought about homicidal or suicide thoughts?
No. I mean, a long time ago. I've been stable for so long. I've never had any doubts like that.
The detective shifts focus again, inquiring about the iPad and her friend, topics that Sabrina seems to recall without trouble, as opposed to her apparent lapse in memory regarding the crime itself.
Where do you think you got the knife from?
I don't believe I got the knife.
Yeah. And you had a knife.
I don't believe it.
It's true. You remember?
When we came to the house, you had the knife in your hand.
Are you sure it wasn't self-defense?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We had 2 police officers there that saw you with the knife and ordered you to drop it.
Did I?
Well, yes.
Why do you say that so iffy?
You did. Well, I said it like that because it's the head and you could have been hurt. You threw the knife down and they made you get on the floor and put handcuffs on you. Do you recall that part of it there?
The little bit that I recall is being on the floor drooling, and then that's it.
You remember Megan coming in?
No.
No?
Remember Haley coming in?
Megan and Haley were both there?
Yep.
So you're saying everything. So what you're saying is true. You're telling me Haley and Megan saw me or her mother?
Correct.
Nobody needs to see that.
No.
You're right.
Right.
I mean, it's just between you and Lisa. Nobody else should have seen that.
No. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ow! No.
What's wrong with your shoulder, hon?
I think they gave me a tetanus shot.
Oh.
Sabrina draws attention to the pain in her arm, likely as a way to gain sympathy or deflect further questioning. However, it's nothing more than a tactic to stall.
Nothing's coming to...
No.
Remember Megan or Haley saying anything to you?
Remember Megan trying to pull you off? Her mom telling you to stop?
They were in there and trying to put me off of her.
Brian, it is true. You're right and wrong and truth and a lie. Do you remember any of these things?
Nothing except for what I told you.
Okay. That's what happened.
Is everything gonna be okay?
Just
not with me.
No, it's not going to be okay for a lot of people. I know some things for sure. I know Megan was yelling at you to stop. Do you recall any of that?
No.
I'm going to tell you how I know this because she called 911 and I could hear both of you in the background.
Oh. Why can't I remember this?
I don't know. That's why we're talking to you. I don't know. Nothing. Do you remember it would trigger anything like this? You ever had a situation like this ever?
No. I've never. No.
You ever sleptwalk before?
Yeah. It was my grandma a long time ago.
Yeah. What happened then?
I was in her bed and I guess I just tried to walk out of the house. Just come back and it laid me down.
I mean, this is what happened, but you honestly do not remember?
You know where the knives are in your house?
Yes, but that's only because I either use them to cook or I put away the dishwasher.
Recall going to the kitchen last night and grabbing a knife?
No.
Sabrina insists on her memory loss, but she can likely sense the skepticism in the detective's voices. Her story carries little to no credibility without any prior history of such incidents.
I wasn't in the kitchen last night.
I don't know which knife it was. Do you remember which one it was? I don't know.
Lay that long?
I used that.
Do you know that knife?
What it looks like. It's just the length.
Black handle? Probably 9 to 12 inches. Very sharp.
Does it have ridged edges or does it straight sharp?
I believe. Don't recall, to be honest with you.
You ever punched any holes in your wall? Well, you ever slammed your door open where the door handle?
Those were both there from Megan.
They're from
Before I
Megan?
got there.
Okay.
She has huge major issues with anger.
Okay.
She's pulling up on me multiple times and hit me and then claimed that I tried to stab her with a butter knife. And you can ask Laura, which is Lisa's sister, and Kevin. We were all there when they went to training. She made a big deal out of nothing. Because she got mad about Laura not wanting her waffles, and I was buttering mine. She goes to hit me on my arm, and I go to restrain her hands because she wasn't going to hit me more. I had a butter knife in my hand, didn't have time to put it down, but it was space on the floor. She's trying to struggle to get her hands away from mine, and by the time I have it, the knife is in between our two hands. And they claimed that I tried to kill her. She's also claimed that Kevin tried to kill her.
Without additional documentation, it's hard to determine if this event truly occurred. Sabrina is either fabricating or exaggerating the story to discredit the claims of her foster sister.
Honestly, She has some huge mental instability. Because none of us ever has tried to hurt her or anybody else.
Why do you suppose your clothes were dripping with blood?
What is that noise?
They're releasing the door, and it makes a loud click noise.
I'm not sure how to do that.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
Well, how do you suppose your clothes were blood-soaked, dripping?
You told me I killed her.
You don't remember anything?
With that, the detectives no longer gain new information and wrap up their interrogation with Sabrina. While she doesn't deny killing Lisa, she claims to have no memory of the act. However, the detectives have gathered more than enough evidence to charge her with first-degree aggravated murder. What remained unknown in the interrogation was the underlying motive behind the murder. But that, too, was about to be revealed in a shocking twist.
When I started to think that there was more to the incident than just a foster child that stabbed her foster mother was when I went to the wake. When I went to the wake in the service that had an outpouring of support and a lot of tears and sadness by coworkers and that, there seemed to be one person there that didn't seem to have much tears or sadness about it, and that was Kevin.
As Sabrina faced the difficult journey toward prison, few paid attention to the man with the alibi, her foster father, Kevin. In the aftermath of Lisa's death, Kevin displayed a chilling indifference, using the life insurance payout to fund a lavish lifestyle. He paid off his home, bought new cars, purchased a house in Florida, and even took flying lessons. For someone who had lost his wife in such a gruesome way, Kevin seemed to be living large and remained strikingly unremorseful. The detectives, suspecting a connection between Kevin and the murder, brought him in for questioning. When he arrived, accompanied by his lawyer, the detectives informed him that they would question him about his wife's work.
Kevin, do you know anything that was happening at the house the night before you left for work that night?
Well, hang on a second. We just talking about his wife's work. What's going on at the house the night before is not his wife's work.
Okay. Where does your wife work at?
With County Children's Services.
What did she do there?
She was a social worker for the children's section.
Were you and Lisa in the process of going through a divorce?
No matter how hard the detectives tried to steer the questioning toward the murder, Kevin's lawyer repeatedly intervened to stop them. Even with the most basic inquiries, the lawyer blocked their progress at every turn. However, Sabrina eventually cooperated with investigators, leading to Kevin's indictment nearly 6 months after the murder in August 2013. She agreed to speak with a prosecutor through a process known as a proffer, where Sabrina would openly confess the motive behind the murder. This was the first step before entering a plea agreement. It was revealed that Kevin had masterminded the crime, and there were over 1,500 messages exchanged between him and Sabrina, many of which were disturbingly sexual.
Was Kevin Knafel, my foster father. It was Kevin's idea, and it was talked about after we were having relations, and him and Lisa were having problems in marriage. He wanted to get a divorce, but Haley, which is a 3-year-old daughter of his and her, was in the picture, and he wanted full custody. She would get custody, or it would be shared, and he didn't want that happening. So the alternative was for this to happen.
When was it, after you started to live there on a daily basis, that your relationship with Kevin changed? When did this make you start to change?
It all started not with, but with massages, because he was a truck driver and his legs would cramp, so it was inner thigh. Then it progressively got into.
Does he ever tell you, hey, can't tell anybody about this.
All the time.
Did you say what would happen if you told
Then you'd be taken out of my care and I could lose my foster parent license.
What did you say in response to that?
I would never do that.
Okay.
Tell on him.
Sabrina asserts that Kevin began a relationship with her when she was 17 and quickly progressed to where they were together whenever Lisa and her daughter were away from home.
What was his relationship to you?
It was when a foster father when needed to be and when a lover when not being a foster father.
Sabrina admits that Kevin started discussing plans to have his wife killed and revealed that he had $785,000 in life insurance policies on Lisa.
Can you describe for us or give us an idea of exactly the statements that Mr. Knaefel made to you about his wife being gone?
She would be worth more dead than alive.
Did you engage in any other activity with the defendant about that topic at that time?
Yes.
And what happened?
About how to kill him.
Why did you do that?
Because I was doing what I was told to do.
Right. And who told you to do that?
Kevin.
And why did you keep doing that?
Because I knew I was already going to jail.
In August 2014, Sabrina pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years in 2042.
Honestly, I believe Sabrina was a victim.
At 12B, this is a situation where both of the victims suffered serious physical, psychological harm. The offender's relationship with both victims facilitated the offense with reference to the murder. Murder, in this case, Mr. Knaefel acted as part of an organized criminal activity. I concur that I've seen no remorse at any point during this proceeding, either before the trial, during the trial, or up to today. As such, as pointed out, there has been no prior record of the defendant. He has no convictions. He's lived a law-abiding life. In this case, there is mandatory prison time that must be imposed due to the offenses that have been committed and due to the verdict that has been returned. As such, it is the order of this court that Kevin Knaefel is sentenced to Lorraine Correctional Institution.
On June 11, 2014, Kevin was found guilty on all 11 charges: 6 counts of battery, 3 counts of complicity to commit aggravated murder, and 2 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years.
Cleveland Police, how can I help you? I got a phone call from my ex-boyfriend that he just killed his whole family. I know he's walking right now, because when he FaceTimed me, he was walking. You know where he's walking towards? No. But he did tell me that he has a gun and he still has 2 bullets in it.
This chilling 911 call was shocking on its own, but it also served as a confirmation of several claims made just moments earlier by a man named Martin Muniz to the Cleveland Police on January 13th, 2023.
I'm serious, I'm not crazy. And you could go to the address and verify. The address is 3719 Mac Court. But I want you to handcuff me first.
What began as a bizarre encounter to the police quickly unraveled into a chilling confession, one that revealed a series of victims, exposing not just a murderer, but a monster who took twisted pride in killing his own family. On the evening of January 13th, 2023, an ordinary-looking night in Ohio turned into a chilling scene of tragedy. 42-year-old Martin Muniz took the lives of 4 family members in a shocking display of brutality. Martin Muniz fatally shot 16-year-old Jaden Bays, his mother, Angelique Gonzalez, her father, Miguel Gonzalez, and Angelique's husband, Anthony Booth. Angelique's 8-year-old daughter survived the attack and was hospitalized. After the murders, Martin calmly flagged down a police car at 7:46 p.m. and confessed, showing no remorse for the horrific crime. Once law enforcement officials saw the crime scene, there was not a shred of doubt that every word Martin claimed were true, and they were left with no choice other than finding the entire truth behind this senseless and gruesome crime. Martin was swiftly taken into custody, leading to an interrogation that stunned seasoned detectives and uncovered his dark past and a disturbing family dynamic.
Well, I tried to kill my sister's whole family, but 2 of them got lucky and lived.
2 of them got lucky and lived?
The other 3 didn't. He raised me.
Angel, you said?
Yeah. He raised me. He used to beat out of me, you know, have me kneeling down on heater vents and digging holes, and he bought a snakeskin belt. I used to have to do push-ups, so he smacked me in the back of the head. He used to take toolboxes and slap me with it, throw bricks at me. So recently, I went into the room. I was looking for my niece, and I'm calling her name. I don't hear her, so I went into his room, and he's laying down. So he's in there. He got his hand in his pants. My niece pops her head from under the blanket. So I'm like, what are you doing? So I was playing with Daddy's phone.
From the start, Martin readily confessed. His carefree demeanor and words during the interrogation showed no sign of remorse or emotion about what he did.
No, I came upstairs to eat, and I asked my sister's dad, no, I'm lying. I asked Jaden, her son, I said, yo, where is the rest of the food at? He said, no, it's gone. I'm like, what you mean it's gone? I didn't even eat yet. So he was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. So I said, okay, well, where's my sister at? So I asked my sister, I said, where's the food at? She said, I don't know. Why are you asking me? I said, okay. I said, yo, I didn't eat. We're gonna have a problem. Nobody said nothing. So, they had to go.
People who spend years in prison often face stigma and rejection, and Martin was no exception. Instead of support, his family pushed him away, treating him harshly because of his criminal history. Martin could have chosen to start a new life elsewhere, but instead, he took the most violent path, murdering his entire family and convincing himself it was justified because of the way they had treated him. But what he does next is quite bizarre, and very few detectives in their lifetime had experienced something similar.
All the way over to Clark Avenue, is that where you flagged on the police?
Yeah, I guess. I just want to see any cop, man, just so I could go back home. I don't belong on the streets. I don't. You got other people who belong on the streets. I don't. They should have never let me home.
So when you left the house from walking, did you like throw it in the garbage can, house, or just on the street?
I don't know. My mind was just focused on, I need to go home. I didn't care about where the gun was at. I didn't care about if they was looking for me, nothing. I just wanted to come back home.
Where's home?
The box. I don't want nothing else. So I'm guilty of it. You can write it down. I don't really care.
Can you at least describe the gun? What kind of gun was it?
I don't know, man. It used to kill people, dude. I didn't look at the details of the gun.
Where'd you get it?
That I don't know.
Was it just at the house?
I don't know.
Are you hungry? Do you want something?
No, I want to remember.
That's what I'm saying, is if you're hungry, you need something to help you, you know?
Mr. Muniz, are you on any medications at the current moment?
No. I'm normal, I guess.
It was tragically ironic to watch Martin call himself normal. He was someone who saw himself unfit for society and considered prison his true home. It's fascinating how he's eager to skip the formalities and just return to prison. But the real mystery was why he preferred prison over a normal life. Did killing those 4 people serve as his ticket back to the place he called home? Detectives were determined to get more clarity out of him, and it was a matter of time before he started revealing the disturbing details of the crime.
So, do you recall who all was in the house?
Well, I know I walked into my sister's room and I shot Tone first.
You say Tone?
Yeah, Anthony.
Is that the 16-year-old?
No, that's the black dude. I shot him first.
The boyfriend?
My sister's husband.
Okay.
And then my sister looked at me and put her hands up, and I shot her. And then I walked out the room, and my niece told me, "How you doing?" And I didn't want to shoot her. I didn't want her to die, so I didn't shoot her in the head. The boy I shot in the head. Then I went upstairs and I shot him in the face.
Who?
Angel. And then I came back downstairs and I walked back in my sister's room and I shot Tone again. And then I went next to my sister and I put a bullet in the back of her head.
Now, your niece, was she shot at all?
Yeah, I shot her, but I didn't want her to die.
Okay.
She's harmless, just... I wouldn't have killed her son either. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't want her to die. So I didn't shoot her in her face.
Okay.
The guy upstairs that died, he used to beat me as a kid. And he got away with it because nobody would listen to me when I used to ask for help. Nobody listened.
Who is he?
He raised me.
Angel, you said?
Yeah. He raised me. He used to beat out of me, you know, have me kneeling down on heater vents and digging holes. And he bought a snakeskin belt. I used to have to do push-ups, so he smacked me in the back of the head. He used to take toolboxes and slap me with it, throw bricks at me. The last thing was he bought a bullwhip, and that's when I ran away. So I killed him.
Martin's claims made it clear that his distorted perspective hadn't developed overnight. It was shaped by a series of events that left deep scars on his childhood. However, what detectives uncovered next was far more shocking than anything he had confessed before.
But you left the house with the gun.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna leave it there. This ain't the first time I'm killing. I got caught with the first gun on the first body. They just couldn't prove it was me.
Where was that at?
New Jersey. I gave the guy's name is Jamie Molina. I killed him on October 13, 2013, Northgate Park, broad daylight.
Why'd you do that?
He robbed me.
What was his name?
Jamie Molina.
In the past, Martin had served time for various charges, including assault, theft, and even murder. He had previously managed to escape serious consequences through clever manipulation, slipping through the cracks of the justice system with unsettling ease. As he proudly recounts these incidents, detectives were able to get a more clear understanding of his mind and its darkness. However, there is also a different side to him apart from the senseless monster he has proved himself to be.
You guys are making it harder than it needs to be. All you have to do is say I'm guilty on paper. That's it.
We're not trying to make it complicated.
Well, they are. You know how many people was on that street? Then you got...
No, we weren't over there, so we had no idea, to be honest.
You know what I find amazing is, if I'm in a police car and you have people walking up there that I guess they feel some type of way that I killed them. If you're really gonna do something to me, why are you standing in front of the cops? Why not just wait till the police car starts moving and shoot at it? So you want to be seen. And this is why I can't live with. People on the streets are stupid. They don't have no sense. They want to be seen. They want to be the center of attention. I don't. Just put me back in the box and forget that pill, whatever. I don't care. Whatever, however they're going to play it. Send me back there. I don't want to be seen. I don't belong out here, man. I can't get used to this out here. They don't have no respect out here. Everything is a problem out here. If I walk too hard, it's a problem. If I don't get a job fast enough, it's a problem. You know how much I weighed when I moved to my sister's house? 320 pounds. Do I look like I'm 320 pounds, man? Because they starved me.
Martin is a man who is acutely self-aware and fully conscious of his surroundings. He explains with unsettling ease why he preferred life in prison over freedom on the streets. His straightforward confession to all his crimes began unraveling the questions that had kept detectives on edge. They finally realized that it wasn't an impulsive, senseless crime Martin committed. Rather, it was premeditated, driven by deep-seated emotions and a twisted sense of purpose. As the interrogation continued, Martin unveiled even more concerning details about his family and the source of his intense disgust toward them.
You want another piece? No.
You good?
Yeah. Hey, listen to this, right?
Yeah.
That dude is 50 years old, right? My sister's 33. You're good at math. They've been together for 16 years.
So she was young.
And that would make him old. He chased my sister around all the way to Missouri at that age. So, okay, to me that's a... Alright, so recently I went into the room. I was looking for my niece. And I'm calling her name, I don't hear it, so I went into his room. And he's laying down. So he's in there, he got his hand in his pants. My niece pops her head from under the blanket. So I'm like, what are you doing? So, I was playing with daddy's phone. So I'm like, alright, that's weird. I asked my sister about, like, yo, you allow that? Like, him to have Ian in the bed like that while he's playing with himself? She's like, oh, you're thinking too much into it. So then the second time he was on the couch with her. The couch is small, man. So I told my niece, I said, yo, she was like, yeah, I was laying down with daddy. I said, what, I'm on the couch? I said, that ain't weird to you? Because she was like, nah. I said, okay. And then he made a comment to me one time. It was two, like, I think they was like 15 or 16 years old, girls walking, and we're driving by, and he was like, man, look at them. I'm like, man, they jitterbugs. What are you talking about? Them girls. He like, nah, they girls. I said, man, them little girls, man. You can't tell the difference between a little girl and a grown woman, dude. So, I mean, that might be part of the reason why I didn't want him alive. He already made my sister a victim of the stupidity because you convinced her. She started calling herself stupid. And I used to be like, why you keep calling yourself stupid? Because he told you that? He molded you to say you're dumb? And then my sister wanted to tell me something the other day, and he walked in and she shut up. Because she said, you know, I don't want... My nephew had a situation with a female. He snuck out and went to her house. Came back at 4 in the morning. So, and then my sister called the girl's mom, and the girl's mom said her daughter told him no. So I told my nephew, I said, dude, that's... Because she said that, and it's true. So then my sister was sitting in the living room with me, and she was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm gonna have to send him to his dad. And then she went to say something else. He walked in, and she shut up. So I was like, yo, finish what you were saying. Like, you was great, say something. And she was like, nah. So I said, yo, did something happen? Like, did something happen between Jaden and Yana, or your husband and Jaden or something? Because when Jaden was 10 years old, Tony used to take showers with him when he was 10. And I told her that when we was in Chicago. I said, yo, I don't like that. That's a little weird to me. That's not his dad, so there's no reason why he should be in a tub with a grown man naked. Oh, don't worry about it. He's showing him how to take... Man, he's 10 years old. So that's the reason I think he's a... And I think he's been preying on kids ever since my sister. You're 50, my sister's 33. They've been together for 16 years. If nobody could do math, put it on paper. It don't add up.
Detectives were unsure if Martin was being entirely truthful. His allegations were severe, with no one left to confirm or deny them. While he seemed eager to go back to prison by justifying his actions with a series of narratives, the detectives knew they didn't need much anymore to charge him for the monstrosity he's shown. The investigation finally reached its climax with Martin Muniz's arrest following his chilling confession. Criminals desensitized to their actions often show no guilt, with their repeated offenses eroding any sense of morality. Detectives suspected Martin had been immersed in criminal activities for years, which dulled his conscience and stripped away accountability. For Martin, prison was not a punishment, but a refuge. A place where life's struggles were simplified to eating, sleeping, and existing without the burdens of earning or societal judgment. Killing 4 members of his sister's family was his ticket back to the only place that felt like home, a world where he faced no discrimination and where, disturbingly, life felt normal to him. Martin was charged with 4 counts of aggravated murder and 1 account of attempted aggravated murder. During court hearings, prosecutor Michael C. O'Malley referred to him as a vicious mass murderer. Martin pleaded guilty on August 22, 2024, and received 4 consecutive life terms without parole.
You don't coke or anything to drink? No, sir, I'm afraid to go home.
This is 17-year-old Brandon Adalot, a teenager whose crimes shocked even the most seasoned detectives.
San Res 911, you need police? Somebody's hurt really bad, though. I need somebody to get here as fast as they can get here, please. Do you see any weapons there? There's a knife. Look at her hand. There's a knife in her hand? Yes.
It was 7 p.m. on Christmas Eve of 2013 when Randall Adalot had just arrived from a last-minute Christmas shopping spree. He was about to enter the living room when he discovered the body of his wife, 48-year-old Sharon Hill, lying in a pool of blood. His wife's face had been stabbed with several knives, leaving it unrecognizable. And the person who brought such an atrocity was someone unexpected.
Why are you here? Because I killed Sharon Hill. You killed it? Sharon Hill. Mine.
Even detectives who were accustomed to the dark side of humanity were taken aback by Brandon's chilling confession. But detectives wondered why a calm and composed teenager would kill his mother with such inhumane brutality. Is this even an act of a sane mind? They were yet to find out whether he has a distorted psyche or this teenager is an embodiment of pure evil.
Lives with this detective too. She's one lead investigator in this. I'll let her start off. See where we need to go. Alright, that's right.
It's Brandon, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if I call you that?
Yes, ma'am.
Brandon, we're here investigating a criminal investigation that you're involved in.
Yes, ma'am.
We'd like to talk to you a little bit. I'm not sure if you've talked to anyone else since they got you at your dad's house or not, but I'd like to talk to you a little bit if you don't mind.
Alright, yes, ma'am.
First of all, how are you doing?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Do you know why you're here?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Why are you here?
Because I killed Sharon Hill.
You killed it?
Sharon Hill.
Sharon Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is it?
Mine.
The detectives just brought him to the interrogation room and were sitting down, hoping to hear a lot from Brandon, who, without giving them any room to play around with questions, immediately owned up to his crime. And the reason behind his acts would be much more baffling than the detectives expected.
Yeah, tell what led up to it. What happened? She sent me to drug rehab when I had no drugs in my system. And she kept on getting mad at me every time I would tell her I didn't have any drugs in my system. And she just drove me to the brink where I said, I really don't have any drugs in my system. And I just completely lost it one day.
What day was that?
Today.
Tell me what happened. Tell me about your afternoon.
I woke up, hung out around the house. I went over there to have dinner, and she just looked at me like I was crazy. And I had enough of it, so I decided to kill her. You live with your dad, right? Yes, sir. Where does he live at? Behind Circle K. Okay, that where the police found you tonight? Yes, sir. You went over to your mom. Did y'all start arguing about the drugs again, or what happened? No, sir. I just went in there and I killed her.
Brandon's words revealed a deep-seated hatred toward his mother, and the roots of it started months ago. Sharon had caught Brandon using drugs like marijuana. As any concerned mother would, she was deeply worried about her son as he spiraled deeper into this destructive behavior of drug use. To stop him from going further down this path, she sent him to rehab, where he began to receive treatment and might have even recovered. However, his father, Randall, pulled him out of the facility. According to him, his son was completely fine and suffered no issues of possible drug abuse. It was then that Brandon began resenting his mother.
What did you kill her with? A knife and a baseball bat.
Where'd you get the baseball bat?
Out of my room.
At your mom's house, your dad's house?
My mom.
Where's the bat now?
It's in my car.
And the car was being selected?
Yes, sir.
How many times did you hear with a bat?
A lot.
Where'd you get the knives from?
The kitchen drawers.
How many knives?
A lot.
Got any idea how many times you stabbed her?
No, sir. Just stabbed her.
What made you go over there? And did she call you and invite you over to come have dinner?
I was invited earlier that day by my sister.
But the sister wasn't home there, right?
No, sir. She came over to my dad's house.
Is that your biological sister? Stepsister?
That's my biological sister.
How old is she?
10.
Brandon's subtle smirk hinted at a chilling lack of remorse for his actions. What was truly incomprehensible, however, was the pride with which he recounted the brutal killing of his mother. This leaves us with a haunting question. How could a bright, promising teenager descend into such heinous acts? The answer would soon leave the detectives deeply disturbed.
You go to your mom's house, I mean, is this something that you sit down and hang out a while, or as soon as you get there?
It just happened immediately when I got there.
What happened right when you pulled in?
I got out of my car, walked up to the door, and knocked on it. She shut the door, and I stabbed her.
Did you go inside the house?
Yes, ma'am.
And then she shut the door?
Yes, ma'am.
Take the bat out of the car when you got there?
The bat was already in the room.
Okay, then the room at your mom's house, not your dad?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did you say anything to her? I mean, did y'all talk at all before you found her?
No, ma'am.
Is that the only, I mean, what kind of issues have you and Mom had other than that?
That was the only one.
Okay. After you stabbed her and left the house, where'd you go?
Winn-Dixie.
What'd you do in Dixie?
And I hung out there for a little bit.
Talk to anybody there?
No, sir. And then I went back to the house. And the cops showed up, and then I went outside.
Did you change clothes when you got home?
Yes, sir.
Where are the clothes at that you wearing when you stabbed your mom?
I threw them in the dirty clothes basket.
At your dad's house?
At my dad's house, yes.
When Sharon was busy preparing Christmas presents, she heard a knock at the door. She was expecting Brandon, who had been invited for the family Christmas dinner. Little did she know that the boy she gave birth to would become the reason for her own death. The moment Brandon stepped inside, he stabbed his mother in the back with a knife. As she collapsed, he slashed her throat and then went further by grabbing a baseball bat from inside the house. He struck her repeatedly with the bat before returning to the kitchen to collect more knives. This detail reflects the vicious nature of Brandon and his desensitized outlook towards violence. This was a behavior that stems from his substance abuse, which ironically was Sharon's greatest worries.
Did you take any of the knives with you when you left your mom?
Yes, sir. I took only one.
Where is it now?
It's at my dad's house.
Where at Dad?
Behind all the other knives and spoons and everything and all in the tray.
The kitchen drawer?
Yes, sir.
Much to the detective's horror, Brandon's confession was, in fact, true, with Sharon's body being found with a knife barbarically left protruding from her right eye socket. During the autopsy, it was revealed that another small knife had been shoved into the same eye socket, deep enough to lodge inside her skull. As if that wasn't enough, Brandon stomped on her face multiple times, disfiguring her even further. The blood tainted all the presents that were carefully placed under the tree, leaving a grim reminder of the tragedy that had ensued. Doesn't this remind you of Art the Clown from Terrifier again? Only this time, the terror was not on a screen. It was all too real.
How do you feel about what happened?
Like I did the right thing.
Was
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, why do you think you did the right thing?
Because she was saying that I was smoking or I wasn't.
Have you talked to anybody else about this? You called a friend? Anybody?
Me and my dad was involved.
How was that?
It didn't go well. My aunt was involved. My aunt's friend was involved. My sister was even involved.
Involved in what?
Like whenever I had to take a drug test and I passed it and then I went to the real one. No, I mean I failed the first one. Then I went to the real one and I passed it and they still checked me into a drug rehab facility.
Okay. And you're saying your aunt and your sister and your dad were involved in checking you into that facility?
That was all my mom's idea.
When you got back to your dad's house, did you take a shower?
Yes, sir, I did.
What do you think should happen now?
I think that Elena Rivera should be kicked off the throne.
Who's that?
This girl that's in charge of smoking. She's Native American.
She's in charge of all of smoking?
Yeah.
Like in the whole world, or?
Yeah. She don't even smoke.
Detectives struggled to determine whether Brandon was purely evil or deeply unstable mentally. The disturbing details he shared and his unnervingly calm demeanor raised serious concerns regarding his state of being. Witnessing a son kill his mother with such extreme violence and justify it as being right was utterly shocking. At this point, detectives began to seriously consider the possibility that Brandon's actions might have stemmed from a disturbed, psychotic mindset.
You don't coke or anything to drink?
No, sir, I'm afraid to go home.
All right, give us just a few minutes and we'll try to get you out here, okay?
All right.
And those were Brandon's last words, which are as eerie as they are unsettling. What could a teenager like him have actually been doing? Well, the answer was found much later. A social worker had visited Brandon in jail, to whom he spoke of someone named Braxton Strange, a figure he described as the ruler of Navarro. According to Brandon, Braxton was not just a person, he was a god. And this god had given Brandon a mission to fulfill a prophecy. This so-called prophecy was the reason Brandon claimed he killed his mother. In his mind, the act would immortalize her, allowing her to spend eternity with her ex-husband, Randall. But the prophecy didn't end there. Randall was meant to be the next victim on Brandon's list. When the police followed up on his story and searched for the so-called ruler of Navarro, Braxton Strange, they found nothing. No one by that name. No mysterious figure pulling the strings. Just another twisted fantasy. This delusion was later debunked by psychiatrists who were in charge of treating Brandon. They confirmed that he was suffering from schizophrenia, a disorder that likely fueled his disturbing beliefs and actions. In 2016, Brandon Adalot was tried in a one-day bench trial before Circuit Judge John F. Simon. Psychiatrist Dr. Robert Scott Benson testified that Brandon's schizophrenia led him to believe he was justified in killing his mother. The defense argued that Brandon was not guilty by reason of insanity, or NGRI, as his mental illness prevented him from understanding the wrongfulness of his actions. In a recent court ruling on August 15, 2024, Pam Hill, Sharon's sister, testified something profound that explains the impact Brandon Adalot had on the family after he committed the crime.
My sister, and so I went to the state attorney's office and talked to them, and I love him, that boy, and I looked at it as my nephew. A lot of this sounds, in theory, like we have a plan. He killed my sister when his life was charmed. What do you talk about to the person that killed your sister? He is dangerous, and he has told me he's not through killing my family. It took 3 years to establish competency, which my understanding is that's a very low bar. He had mentioned people with brown eyes weren't on his side, only blue-eyed people were. And I asked him, I said, well, I've got a brown eye and a green eye, Brandon. And he said, well, I just don't know what I'd do with you. It's no secret I've never wanted him to get out of the incarceration or the admission. I realize he's a patient at Florida State Hospital. I never wanted him out.
Brandon was confirmed to be held in the Santa Rosa County Jail. The court ruled that he would be transferred back to Florida State Hospital, where he will remain in the custody and care of the Department of Children and Families until a bed becomes available for him at the Appalachia Center. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And for more such disturbing cases, follow our channel. From all of us, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a peaceful holiday season. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.